is your emergency?
We have an injured person out here on the trails at Good Evening Ranch.
Alright, so got discharged from the hospital. Got it all splinted up, wrapped up. No broken bones, but it did sever part of my tendon. So unfortunately that means that I'm gonna have to have some surgery in the upcoming weeks to repair that. Could have been a lot worse. Could have severed an artery. A lot more things could have gone wrong. Throttle got stuck open somehow. When I came off, I goosed it and then I let off, and for some reason even when I hit the ground it was still under power until the cutoff switch switched it off. So that's kind of what got me in trouble. But
I wanted to get into actually evaluating what happened in this accident, what could have been done differently, answer some of your questions that you had in the comments on our crash video. If you haven't seen our crash video, I'll post it right here. It's a really good video, even without the crash. Had some really good wheeling in it at Good Evening Ranch. And so check it out and then come back to this video and give us your thoughts. To get into it, we had a chance to really evaluate, my initial impression of the accident on that day. I remembered things that footage and stuff showed maybe a little bit differently than what I remembered. The throttle being stuck open, definitely think that was part of the reason why the accident went so badly. Zooming in on some of the footage we got some really good footage. Thank you to Ross Offroad. Thank you to everyone who was so kind to film, Catherine and others who gave me footage for this video. Got some good angles of the crash and really can break down what happened. Okay, so here is another view from the accident. This one was taken by Catherine. This one wasn't in the video, but it shows really good what happened, why it got so off camber, kind of what my thought process was here. So obviously it's very tippy here. If you watch the video, my rear end was coming off the ground. I knew it was going to be tippy and my plan was to drive through it. So we're going to go ahead and show it. So right here comes up. So you might notice right here, this tire clipped this rock. If it hadn't, I might have been able to pull through, pull the rear end down and been okay. But since it clipped that rock, that's what sent the front end over so violently. The rear end was already up. Hitting the front end on that rock kind of sealed the fate there. There was no driving out of it at that point. Any speed just kind of made the problem even worse. So that's why it ended up on the ground. The other thing you see is it bounces multiple times. So there's the initial hit, which is right here, and then it turns and bounces 2 more times before it comes to a rest. That's 2 things there. Now we're going to go over to the other view, which we did show in the video, and this one shows really where my hands were, where kind of everything went wrong. So once again, you see the rear end coming around, and it's right about there is when you see the tire hit that rock over here and send me all the way over. So then initial hit right there, right here. Now notice where my hand is. It's on the steering wheel. My shoulder hits that rock right there. My head is up here. Shoulder hits the rock. You can still see my hand right here, but it's been pushed up and off of the steering wheel. And then it drops down here because my shoulder was pinned up against that rock before. Now that rock is no longer there and it drops out. And that is where it gets caught and pulled under the cage. So my hand is now right here because it hits the shoulder, then drops out. Hits the shoulder, knocks off the steering wheel, then drops out from under me. So I didn't tense up enough, I guess, is what it comes down to, after my initial hit to the shoulder. And then it does get caught up and ripped out from the basically that opening, and ends up being under the cage right around here. And that's what ended up cutting my hand, was the rock and the cage pinning my hand to the rock. So that's kind of the gist of what happened in the accident. Why my hand ended up out of the buggy. It wasn't because I just put my hand down or had my hand out the window or something like that. It actually got knocked off the steering wheel with that shoulder hit. So now that's just what the video is showing me, and this is what I also remember is the initial hit happened and I was tucked up, I was safe, and then my arm got pulled out. So that's why that happened. That's why the hand got caught up under it. And so, yeah. So another thing that a lot of you brought up is, why don't I wear a helmet on the trails all the time? And I think that's a good question. It really comes down to personal preference, personal responsibility. You notice I put on my helmet before hitting this trail, and that's what I commonly do is, if I'm just riding around on green trails where there's not a lot of risk, sometimes I won't wear my helmet. I think it's fair to say that, it's relatively safe if I'm fully strapped in with a 6-point harness. I have suspension seats that also hold me in fairly well. There's not a lot of risk of tipping over or rolling. The cage is designed so that rocks don't come in to the machine. The cage held up really well. This is a great point here. That rock could have hit me, but because of the cage, it wasn't able to enter into the area where my helmet would have saved me. But really highly recommend wearing a helmet whenever you're on the trails, but at the same time, it's personal responsibility. We know the risk. I always try to wear a helmet whenever I'm entering into a sketchy situation at minimum, and usually I'm wearing a helmet unless it's like something really silly small. So yeah, but that's why I do recommend wearing a helmet, absolutely. Now the other thing that gets brought up a lot is wheeling within your capabilities, within your buggy's capabilities and stuff like that, and I highly recommend that you do that. This obstacle was within my capabilities. We've done much harder, more off-camber type trails and stuff. This wasn't anything really that new, and I think this goes to show you that things can go wrong even when you've done much harder stuff, when situations are ideal. I was on a little bit less sleep. Who knows if I was fully rested, if I would have been able to avoid that rock that I clipped. Maybe my depth perception was off a little bit. You could go over and over every little detail and overanalyze it, and I have. But stay within your own limits. Stay within your vehicle's limits. This trail was nothing that was outside of the realm of things that we do on a continual basis. This is the type of trails that we look for, in fact, when we go out riding. And so are the things I do differently? Absolutely have additional eyes on the obstacle, get out and see the obstacle before riding up to it a little bit closer. Things like that can set me up better in the future. I also could have just backed off of it. It was early in the day. Still a lot more riding to do. I always try to tell myself not to hit the hardest stuff first, but a lot of times it's just, you know, it's right there and you want to hit it. So, but hopefully that answers some of your questions. We're going to go ahead and go back to the footage from that day after getting out of the hospital now.
Buggy has some damage. I'll walk around, show you that damage, and yeah, doing things one-handed here. So, got a rear axle, that's busted. Plastics all folded in here, busted. Door, busted. Back at the spot where we had the frame damage already, that's busted and bent. Cage took it like a champ. I mean, this was meant to protect the head, which it did. Didn't have any head injury, didn't even touch my helmet. This is also where it hit. My hand got wedged in there. This plastic's all busted. Got a front axle as well. And the most disappointing part, this tire here, this Zilla, brand new, it got caught as well. And probably not going to be repairable on that one, but you know, I'm alive. Didn't have to spend the night in the hospital or anything like that. We'll probably have outpatient surgery for the tendon repair, and so we'll just keep you updated on that. And yeah, we'll get back to riding as soon as we can, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a road to recovery with that tendon repair. Kind of looking into it. There's going to be some physical therapy and some not fun stuff like that. So yep, do us a huge favor with our injuries and stuff. What's up? Oh. That is the owner of Good Evening Ranch making his rounds, checking in on us. Really awesome dude. He actually drove us to the hospital. We didn't know where the hospital was, and we were gonna have to wait on an ambulance, and it ended up saving us a lot of time getting a ride, and really appreciate it. The staff here are all awesome. They checked in with us, made sure we were good, and when we came back they were asking about us and they would pray for us, and just really awesome. 10 out of 10 staff here at Good Evening Ranch. Couldn't have handled it any better, I don't think. Yeah, and everyone in our group really handled it extremely well, rushing right in to help and make sure my stuff got back safely.
Easy. Oh, now the tire's wet.
I got a compressor. I got an air battery.
It might need a patch.
They're brand spanking new.
Yeah.
They've only been on like one ride or something.
Well, it might have just come off the bead.
Maybe.
I can't say enough about how grateful I am for everyone who helped me with this accident. So yeah, if you could do us a huge favor, smash that like button and subscribe for more great content. Help us out a ton, and you know, make our recovery a little bit, ease our recovery just a little bit. So go ahead and do that now, and we'll see you next time.
Please remain seated and keep your arms and legs in at all times.